I don't know which episode this is. I really don't know which one this is going to be. But so you coming to this podcast is the highlight of this podcast. And I'd like to thank you for this. And I want to get started by saying that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for saying that. And I'm really privileged.
मैले अघि न अफेयर भन्दै थिएँ नि होइन मेरो बुवाको क्याट्राक्ट सर्जरी गर्दाखेरि इट वाज भेरी ह्यासल फ्री कि तिलगङ्गा इन्स्टिट्युटमा इट वाज भेरी ह्यासल फ्री हुन्छ नि होइन त्यो अमाउन्ट अफ ह्यासल इज अलमोस्ट निल पहिला कस्तो हुन्थ्यो
पहिला अब म young man, young ophthalmologist in 1984 when I came back to Nepal. I joined the Nepal Eye Hospital at Taplejung. त्यति बेला चाहिँ तपाईको क्याट्राक्ट गर्ने बेलामा अघि बिरामीलाई 2 दिन अगाडि एडमिसन गरिन्थ्यो हस्पिटलमा अनि एडमिसन गरिसकेपछि अपरेसन गरिन्थ्यो अपरेसन गर्ने बेलामा अनि आँखाको मोतीबिन्दु निकालिसकेपछि अनि कोठामा लगेर absolute bed rest. Sometimes even they say sandbags, right, so that patient doesn't move. We didn't have those precision microscopes, precision surgical instruments and technology. अनि त्यसरी राखेर करिब 1 हप्ता जति हस्पिटलमा राखेर total duration of 10 days. 10 days of patient's time, 10 days of patient's attendance time. That's, people don't realize that. The background time that the attendants spend on care for the patient. So that was how it was done. And, I got extremely thoughtful, and I started thinking about the transition of this type of age-old technique into the modern cataract surgery in Nepal, which is what now has transformed into what you're talking about your dad. But it has taken us a few decades to get into that.
It has.
Yeah, but त्यति गरेर पनि के हुन्थ्यो भने अपरेसन गरिसकेपछि अनि बिरामीले चाहिँ ठक्कै राम्रोसँग देख्दैन र बिरामीलाई राम्रोसँग अलिकति देखाउनलाई मोटो चस्मा लाउनु पर्थ्यो त्यतिखेर +10 डायोप्टर भन्दा बढीको चस्मा लाउनु पर्थ्यो र I'm lucky because I could understand the difficulty of terrain in Nepal. So I was extra motivated to find a way out of it. And because you need to, even to do normal activities for people living up in the hills, Sanjay,
Of course.
You need to have a fantastic vision.
I know, 100%.
You have to get over the bump and go to the toilet and come back up. But you need to see well.
Of course you need to.
And you can't do that with that +10. Okay? And it's very incoordinating and also gives a very magnifying image. So that transformation from that, what I saw in 1984 till towards 1984 to 1994, that whole decades of our work, and we could probably transform into new systems somewhere around the mid-90s.
Somewhere around the mid-90s?
Yeah.
Tell me something. I really wanted to ask you this. When you were growing up in Taplejung, when you were growing up,
yes,
around 6-7 you went to India, you went to India for school. Tell me something. कसैको चस्मा थियो गाउँमा
थिएन मेरो सधैँ मेरो गाउँ ताप्लेजुङको पनि सबभन्दा रिमोट एरियामा है इट्स रियली इफ यु लुक एट द म्याप अफ नेपाल इट्स एट द extreme northeast corner, right at the foothills of Mount Kanchenjunga.
गाउँको नाम के थियो
ओलाङचुङगोला
हैन
ओलाङचुङगोला अनि this is where the source of Tamor Khola, the Khola that comes down in in Dankota, है दानकोटाको तपाईको त्यहाँ तमरको छ त्यसको सोर्स नै हाम्रो गाउँबाट आउँछ. The next place from there is the Tibetan border.
Oh.
And it's just very small. And when I was born, that place...
Satellite ma देखाउनुपर्छ बाबु तिमीले ब्युटिफुल माथिको त्यो उ खोला त लेफ्ट साइडमा जुन त्यो तस्बिर छ नि माथि हो यो तस्बिर खोला त यो है त्यसै म अलिकति
यो अलि होइन
यो जुम आउट
तपाईको उमै गुगलमै जानु त
गुगलमै जाऊ त go back to Google. No, go back, just move back. Back, अर्को back.
That's
satellite
probably a lake, Senchima Lake, the beautiful lake up there. And, but Olangchongola is just near the Tamor River.
Near Tamor River.
And about at that time it was about 200 houses.
We're good.
Yeah, but later on, flood washed away more than half of the land.
Yeah.
And at present, there are hardly about 50 households at present. Okay. And most of the people have left the village.
What did your dad do?
My dad was a small-time trader. And he used to... Olangchongola was a fairly open border post, business post between Tibet and Nepal. So my dad used to go down to Biratnagar and sometimes to Calcutta. Those days Calcutta was really the focus of, even much more than Delhi. Calcutta was bigger. So he used to go and buy pens and, paints. Paint laउने हुन्छ नि पेन्टिङ गर्ने हो त्यो थाङ्काहरू पेन्टिङ गर्नलाई अनि त्यो पेन्टिङहरू उहाँहरूले किनेर ल्याउनुहुन्थ्यो अनि लगेर त्यो सँगै अन्न चिउरा राइस टिबेट लानुहुन्थ्यो अनि टिबेटबाट अब प्राइमरीली दे युज्ड टु सल्ट है and then milk products है यस्तो कुराहरू टिबेट वुल है टिबेटबाट आउँथ्यो तर नेपालबाट टिबेट used to live on the grains and crops we provided them.
That we provided from Nepal? From
Nepal. That was the scenario at that time.
Wow.
All over the border of the northern border of Nepal. And Nepal, the Tibet had no access to mainland China. So most of the food, until very late, शान्तिग्यू भन्ने सुनेको छ है नेपालबाट सर जान्थ्यो अब अहिले त चाइनिजहरूले सबै प्रोभाइड गर्छ है तर Tibetans used to live on the food that we supplied from here.
Wow.
Great, that was the time. Yeah.
Wow, that was the time.
Yeah.
That was
just the opposite now.
Thakko ulto भयो. Do you remember did you ever travel with your father?
I have never traveled when I was young. I've never traveled, and but I remember vaguely the caravans of people arriving from Tibet and going down to India, and from people coming up, and waiting for my dad with mom, when he was out on such business ventures. And but what I was able to see was I was very fortunate when I became a general medical officer. The government of Nepal, along with other doctors, along the northern border of Nepal, Nepal and China wanted to form border posts. These are little stone, and then it's written that number 79 is to the extreme east. So I was assigned the eastern sector. So we walked up all the way from Kandbari, went to Kimathanka, and met the Chinese. And we were given armbands, and went to China wherever it's geographically feasible, Tibet, Panuna, or came to Nepal to observe these. And we had a group of surveyors. So I was basically there to look after their health as a doctor. So at that time, I came in from the Tibetan side to my village and spent about 2 months doing general medical, treatment of my villagers. So that was an interesting thing.
Such a highlight, hey? Such a ek hisabले हेर्नु पर्दाखेरि you were born there, you grew up there, and then later you come back treating your own people, हैन? Tell me something. I really want to understand. किनभने कस्तो हुन्छ भने एउटा प्रिभिलेज लाइफ हुन्छ नि त धेरैजनाको अहिले a lot of friends who are watching right now, some of them might not have gone through the struggles to reach where they are at the moment, हैन त्यो सबैले गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने पनि छैन त्यो हैन. How was it growing up in the family?
My parents are very religious, very God-fearing. And my father was a very staunch, very strict Buddhist. And I still have time to understand it. I don't understand it so much, but my father was, and I could look at his sincerity, you know. So God-fearing, and he was a bit strict. But however, he understood the value of education because he had spent a few years in a monastery as a lama. So that was the only education that we have in the family, you know, in my family. That probably helped him to understand the value of, putting education into me and sending me to school from there.
How many siblings do you have? I know that a few of your siblings passed away. I know.
I had an elder brother who died very, very young, and because of most likely diarrhea and fever. And then I had one younger sister who died because of tuberculosis. And then I had a youngest sister who died again because of fever and diarrhea. Yeah, probably gastroenteritis, you know. She died. And so 3 siblings, we had 6, and 3 passed away before they were 15, 16.
हेल्थ पोस्ट भन्ने अथवा हस्पिटल त एकदम टाढाकै कुरा भयो हेल्थ पोस्ट पनि
हेल्थ पोस्ट भन्दा स्कुल पनि थिएन त्यो ठाउँमा नि स्कुल पनि थिएन त्यो ठाउँमा very prominent and a beautiful and very old monastery थियो. That was how life used to go on, like all those days. You know, they had more belief because that was what there was, the lamas and the monks, you know. And so, मेरो actually के भएको थियो भने सञ्जय मेरो बच्चाभन्दा चकचक गर्छ नि है अनि चकचक गर्दाखेरि मलाई there's an animal called zo, which is a between yak and cow.
के भन्छ यसलाई?
Zo भन्छ. It looks like a bit of an yak, but it doesn't have the long hairs, you know. Zo, and so I used to get on top of it. And my friends used to rush me along the little, canal we had right in the center of the village. अनि पर पुगेपछि टक्कै मलाई फाल्दियो दाहिनेतिर फालेपछि मेरो हात ठ्याक्कै भाँच्यो के अरे है भाँचेर घरमा आइसकेपछि अनि घरमा बाउले बेसरी गाली गरिहाल्छ that's Joe exactly and so the thing that they did was they took me to the monastery and they put some butter and some herbs and then put a little splint, right? And this is a great, if I remember. So I came back home and I started, I was so restless and I started moving my left hand. And that led me to become an ambidextrous. And which was a great boon for me in my surgical career.
Yeah.
So interesting. I mean, these are just...
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Things should have been slightly different.
Surgery गर्नु दुईटै हात चलाउन अलि गाह्रो हुन्छ है दुईटै हात चलाउन सकेपछि अनि अब के दाहिने हात बाँधेर राखेपछि अर्को हात चलाउनै पर्यो walnuts and आरुको बोट and गएर हान्नु पर्ने झार्नु पर्ने अब यो हात चलाएर भए पनि so that's
बानी पर्यो
so it's all destiny.
It is. Oh wow!
Yeah, it is destiny.
Wow! We could talk about this forever and ever. You're a believer in faith and destiny?
Not on top of hard work and purpose, but along with this comes destiny. really it comes. But if you have very strong purpose and hard work commitment, then I think destiny follows.
Automatically
follows, and very often I have experienced great destiny, not good but great destiny.
When you look back at your career, it's the amount of hard work and dedication and destiny,
of course,
and luck maybe a little bit.
Everything, all of them. They all come, but spearheaded by a very mindful, very focused purpose, right? And commitment. These two things, then they will be followed by beautiful destiny. You have destiny, and very, 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 very interesting destinies I've had, and meeting right people at right time.
Since we are talking about this, I know. In 87, I believe you were married.
Yes.
Was it 1987?
87.
87. That's when I was born.
Yeah.
You've said this, and I've read it somewhere. That she was the source of your biggest support. Was your wife?
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on this?
Yeah. We married in 1987 under very difficult situations. I came from a very difficult part of Nepal, from almost a sort of endangered indigenous community. Right? So, and she came from a Newari family.
No.
So for us to get together, not now.
87.
87, yeah. Now things are so different, okay? And I don't see that so much of a problem in my children. But at that time, it was difficult. So the situation of difficulty. So we virtually had a very short marriage. And which was formalized in presence of 3 or 4 of my friends.
That's it?
Yeah, and one of my friends is an advocate now, Sushil Panta, And I had a friend, Kunga Sherpa, and he's also no more. And used to be a great source of tourism and in Nepal. And so we had a small party in Hotel Shangri-La. And the party cost us about 2,500 rupees. That was all we could afford. And the essence is that everything getting on smoothly, you expect smooth things on the end. If you have a turbulent difficulty situation like this, challenging, then whatever you expect comes out very nicely.
True.
So that's how our marriage started. And when then we went out, we spent about 2 months in Netherlands, and we spent about a year in Australia. And partly it was good, partly we had no choice. We had to go out. Frankly speaking, with you.
This is because of the family.
Family, yeah. And so when we came back from Australia. By the time, this was around the beginning of 88. And I had quite a few very luxurious choices. I had few assignments inside Australia, and a few assignments in the Middle East. Very, very good assignments that I could get. But my wife said that we have to go back home, and let's try to go back home and serve our country.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and we came back, and when Nepalese used to go out those days, they used to go for study or for whatever it is. They always used to come back with a little bit of fun money. आएर घर बनाउने के गर्ने हुन्थ्यो. तर हामी यस्तो सिचुएसनमा गयौँ त्यहाँ एकजनाको घरमा गएर बस्यौँ है. मेरो प्रोफेसर फ्रेड हलोज भने मेरो साथी, मेरो मेन्टर, उहाँका घरमा बस्यौँ. घरमा बसेर अब पैसाहरू आउने कुरै भएन, हामीले कमाउने कुरा पनि भएन. अनि फर्केर आउँदाखेरि हामी जाँदाखेरि भन्दा पनि गरिब भएर आयौँ है. I just had a pack of intraocular lenses and some surgical instruments, but we had no financial future. है अन्त आएर फर्केर आउने बित्तिकै अब हामीलाई एकैचोटि घरमा अप्ठ्यारो हुन्छ भनेर मेरो एकजना साथी है यहाँ जो आउमा के अरे ठैटीमा है मोती राजा भन्ने मेरो साथी छ उहाँ कहाँ हामी 2 महिना जति बस्यौँ भित्र गल्लीमा बसेर अनि बिस्तारै अनि घरमा अनि बसेको त्यसरी सुरु भएको जस्ट यु नो आई मिन द्याट्स हाउ वी स्टार्टेड एन्ड बट she continues to be my greatest advisor, critic, and support. I don't know how I could have come to this stage without her.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Yeah. This is such a beautiful story.
And Sanjay, you know.
Yes.
What I felt was, as we have become older, our relationship has become stronger.
The more older you get, the more the bond is stronger.
Exactly. I don't know why, but it is.
Is it to young people? To young people, just now relationships have been different. I know. Maybe it's because of the change of the 21st. Because of the 21st century, it's so the pace of life is so fast. To young people, what did you like to say when it comes to love? How would you want to go ahead and just not describing love, but what is love? Like how would you explain that?
I think primarily there is a mutual liking. That's could be external, internal, and but there has to be a component of mutual respect. And it's very important that you have a component of mutual respect, and especially now more than ever, you have to have be able to compromises on sacrifices, you call it, or compromises, whatever you want to call it, for your other half. And the only thing that I can say is I keep on telling I have 3 children, and my eldest daughter is now married.
Oh.
But the way I want to express to the youngsters is you have decided to get together, and as a married life or as partners, fine, and then the only thing that you have to look is if you separate, and the consequences are much worse. Maybe there's a way you can work together a little bit, try harder, unless and until there's a serious problem, then you can. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
I totally get it. Yeah. You have to keep working on it.
You have to keep working on it, I think. And we, this generation, we do understand the stress and the dynamics that the youngsters' life is through.
Yeah.
And in many parts of the world, divorce rate is very high.
It is.
Yeah, but I think the post-divorce phenomenon is so stressful that maybe it deserves a very good second chance, maybe third chance. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're trying to say.
But I'm from the conventional society, where I can't imagine being together with except my wife.
Yeah, no.
You think whether I'm an old timer or whatever?
No.
Yeah.
हजुरले भन्दा I still remember. अस्ति केही समय अगाडिको कुरा हामी पुरानो फोटो एल्बम खोज्दै थियौँ कि we're looking at old photo albums for a picture of me and my grandmother, and my grandmother holding me like this होइन एउटा तस्बिर हामीले खोज्दै थियौँ. त्यो खोज्दै मेरो बुवा र आमाको विवाहको फोटोतिर आइपुगेँ कि होइन. त्यहाँ हेर्दाखेरि couple of my parents' friends were only there. Okay? I was like, oh, okay. So, story त मलाई थाहा छ how they got married होइन के भएको थियो कसरी how they got married भनेर. अनि फोटो हेर्दाखेरि मात्र थाहा हुने कि यो आन्टी पनि रहेछ, यो व्यक्ति पनि रहेछ भनेर. Just a limited handful amount of people and a मन्दिर. That's it. हुन्छ नि होइन. So in the 80s it was different. It was more beautiful than what it is now.
I know.
Now it is very fast paced.
Very, very, very fast paced.
If you do not like somebody, that's it. It's let's move on to the next one. Like let's move on. Life so it's so beautiful that you shared the story to us, and I'm glad that you shared the story to us.
Very often I see most of my patients are elderly patients, and it's not unusual for me to see an old Newari couple coming to my office, and maybe the wife had surgery and the husband is coming together. Say 80 years old male and 70-year-old female. Okay, they come together and examine, and this was मलाई कहाँ खुल्दुली लाग्छ के अनि मैले सोच्छु then and there I सोच्छु तपाईहरुको बिहा भएको कति वर्ष भयो भनेर है अनि भन्नुहुन्छ मलाई है 55-60 वर्ष we have been together भनेर है and I said you are very lucky. Because things are like that, right?
Of course.
And I understand the situation now, the dynamics and the fastness, the environment, the digital, digitalization of the world, okay? And, the expense. And the world is very expensive, and you have to work very hard to meet the expenses. It's all part of, part of development.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time somebody coined the term God of Sight?
This was given to me by a reporter of AP News. Her name was Maggie, American lady. And के भयो भने उसको एउटा मैले स्टोरी गरिरहेको थिएँ. I was doing a story, and I did a story about my work in Hetauda, and we did a story in Indonesia. इन्डोनेसियामा आचे भन्ने ठाउँ जहाँ त्यो सुनामी आएको थियो नि अघि त्यो ठाउँमा अनि एकजना पेशेन्ट थियो पेशेन्ट must have been blinded for almost 15 years. त्यो एकदमै कुनाको इन्डिजिनस कम्युनिटीको है पेशेन्ट हो अनि हामीले सर्जरी दुईटै आँखाको सर्जरी गऱ्यौँ नेक्स्ट डे है अन्त उसले पेशेन्टको पट्टी खोलेर हेरेर the Maggie was with me and she said she became so excited. We had time to control. We tried to control her because somebody who was totally blind, like you close your eyes. Now the next day she sees everything, after 15 years. So, and then Maggie started talking to her. Then she said in Indonesians, that's what I heard. I have met the God of the sight. The God of the sight has brought me back to this world.
Yeah.
That she started. That's from there. They have started calling me.
It started.
Yeah.
This is one of the. Anyways.
Yeah.
More than 130,000. Can I getting there?
Getting close, yeah.
Getting closer to that?
Close, maybe crossing.
No, you've crossed it. April 2021 you've crossed it. That's the information that I have. April 2021 you've crossed it. Do you remember the first patient? One of the first ones?
First patient,
one of the first ones.
One of the first ones. I don't remember the first one. One of the first patients was the one that I did in an eye camp in Chitwan.
Eye camp in Chitwan.
And Dr. Pokhrel was my senior, and we had such visionary seniors who really taught us how to develop ourselves. And so he was actually there to see me operating, and I was doing the old type of surgery.
What is that?
That is the taking the whole lens out.
So let's explain it to everybody. What exactly is cataract surgery? Mm-hmm. Of course, I've seen it in my own family. Foggy otherwise, haziness I know just the gist of it. If you could explain it to everybody, what exactly is it?
Yeah. Cataract is actually an opacification, gradual opacification of the otherwise clear lens that sits besides the clear part of the eye, the watch glass. त्यसको पछाडि हुन्छ okay? And there's a lens there, and the lens, in our good times, the lens is very good because it's clear and it's also used as focusing. So that's why young people have a versatile vision. You see, you can see for distance, you can see for near, and others don't expect that. अलिकति बुढो हुँदै गएपछि नजिक अलिक कम देख्छ क्या, यसको फोकसिङ पावर कम हुन्छ क्या. अनि यही लेन्समा अलि धमिलो हुन थाल्छ. त्यो धमिलो बढ्दै बढ्दै गइसकेपछि अनि भिजुअली इन्क्यापेसिटेटेड हुन्छ. अनि the lens has certain power, and many years ago, the only surgery that was done was remove this cataract. Cataract remove गरिसकेपछि लेन्सको पावर पनि रिमुभ भयो. अनि बिरामीहरूले हेर्दाखेरि अलिकति उज्यालो मात्रै देख्छ, फोकस हुँदैन, because there is no lens there. So you need to focus. You need to have a focus from the front, right? Because you're not putting an intraocular lens. We had no intraocular lens those days. त्यो मोटो चस्माले त्यसलाई अलिकति फोकस गराउँछ है. अब अहिले आएर हामीले through the microscope, you remove the cataract and leave a little capsule on the back.
True.
And on top of that, you personalized power of the intraocular lens, which is measured for that particular person, त्यो आँखाभित्र हामीले हाल्छौँ. हालिसकेपछि अनि पेशेन्टलाई normally without lenses should be able to see everything, okay? But if you wear glasses, you should be small glasses, you should be able to see better. मतलब चस्मा सबै हट्छ भन्ने चाहिँ अलिकति कमर्सियल प्राङ्क हो है. चस्मा पुरा हट्ने चाहिँ होइन, तर you should be able to manage everything. But without, by putting a very normal glasses, you should be able to see everything very clearly. Distance, near, सबै देखिन्छ. So that's the modern. If you understand, फुटबलमा हाम्रो सकर बल छ नि, सकर बलमा भित्रपट्टि ब्ल्याडर हुन्छ है. ब्ल्याडर डिजिज भइसकेपछि हामीले ब्ल्याडरलाई निकाल्नु पर्यो. पहिला चलन कस्तो थियो भने ब्ल्याडरलाई ठक्कै निकाल्यो अनि मोटो सुईले सुइदियो, सुइसकेपछि अनि त्यो चाहिँ बन्द गर्यो. अब आजकल चाहिँ हामी के गर्छौँ भने सानो पातलो भित्रपट्टि एउटा एक्सटर्नल ओपनिङ र इन्टर्नल ओपनिङ बनाएर त्यो ब्ल्याडरलाई निकाल्छौँ सानो ओपनिङबाट, अनि भित्र गएर अर्को ब्ल्याडर राखिदिन्छौँ अनि स्टिच नलागिकन राख्छौँ. अनि त्यसले गर्दा के हुन्छ भने ब्ल्याडरको सेप चाहिँ मेन्टेन हुन्छ, पहिला जस्तो एकदम बाङ्गोटिङ्गो हुँदैन, अनि आँखाले देख्ने शक्ति पनि राम्रो हुन्छ. That's where the sutureless surgery and later on phaco भनौँ न है, यो हुने कारण त्यो.
Is this how you explain it to all your patients?
Little bit.
To the older ones?
Little bit. मैले यसरी पेसेन्टलाई एक्सप्लेन गर्दा पेसेन्टहरू अलिक डराउनुहुन्छ, तर सिम्पल तरिकाले तपाईँको भित्रपट्टि जालोलाई निकालेर. The way I try to explain is, कति दुख्छ रहेछ भने अनि त्यहाँबाट give a little pinch on the eyelid here, like this. यति हो हुने, योभन्दा बढी के पनि हुँदैन भनेपछि अनि then ढुक्क हुनुहुन्छ.
And you put a smile on their face.
No, it's Sanjay, it's very important to understand for a doctor, or for that matter, you a service provider, anybody, to put in that sit, and then anticipate what you are feeling. If I was a patient, what would I feel? What would I anticipate from my doctor? And I'm not saying that I fulfill everything, but I try to, by sitting on the, putting myself in the chair of my patient. I think that's very important.
Tell me something.
Yeah.
North Korean diplomat, like you treated him. Yes. Or her, I don't know the gender of the person. Treat गरिसकेपछि चाहिँ what made you say to that person that North Korea पनि जाम न, हेरौँ न त्यहाँ के हुँदैछ भनेर? What went through your mind or what went through your heart that I will go to the most isolated country in the planet, one of the most isolated in a country in the planet, and I want to see how the people are doing.
Yeah.
What made you ask that question to that person?
Great. Sanjay, मैले अघि भनेको थिएँ नि तपाईको हाम्रो यो सिस्टमलाई जुन आँखामा इन्ट्राओक्युलर लेन्स हालेर नयाँ मोडर्न सर्जिकल क्याटराक्ट सर्जिकल टेक्नोलोजीलाई कम्युनिटीमा नेपाल जस्तो कम्युनिटीमा कसरी अफोर्डेबल एक्सेसिबल एन्ड पोसिबल बनाउने भन्ने ओभरअल सिस्टम हामीले नेपालमा तयार गरिसकेपछि which took us nearly a decade. And by the end of 1990s, we were ready, fine-tunes were done, and we have standard operating procedure manuals, and we had started training doctors in Tilganga and other doctors from around the world. Then what I try to look into is, where can I scale it up? Where can I go where people will benefit most? Where can it become most beneficial? And the way to look at it is, look into the countries where things are really in a bad shape. So we started doing a little bit of homework, and besides Sub-Saharan Africa, North Korea, Indonesia, Myanmar, even places like Cambodia and Vietnam too. At that time, and these are the countries. But North Korea was very much on our top list, and we were itching to scale this. We were so confident that we could take this to another country and make it successful.
Okay, let me step back. Let me take one step back. I believe I jumped one step ahead. Let me take one step back. Setting up Tilganga. Okay, this is something that I believe I missed out earlier. Tilganga set up garnako lagi चाहिँ, who all came up with the idea and what really happened? If you could explain this.
Yeah. Now, like I said, our focus was on really working on the barriers of modern cataract surgical technique. That was the barrier. What was the barriers? So the barriers were need for a simple, effective surgical technique. And the second barrier was the intraocular lens cost.
Exactly.
The intraocular lens was, at that time, more than $150 per unit. And it was impossible for us to have one for one patient.
That's exactly what I was reading too. Yeah.
And then some of the equipments and the system. Yeah. So Sanjay, I'd been wonderfully fortunate to have a wonderful group of team. Beautiful team that you could never ask for better than this. And I had a great board of directors, and Jagdish Gimere was one of our, the late Jagdish Gimere, and now it's Surit Gimere, and Haribamsa, Sambhu Tamang, and Ravi Kesi, and Govinda Pokhrel, and all these people are there on the board. So, and then we have in the faculty, I had a great association and support from my colleague, Dr. Rita Gurung, and other colleagues thereby, we've been working right from the beginning, right? And so we started to imagine right in the beginning. Maybe I started imagining in the late 80s, after I came back from Australia, started imagining and trying to, modify the surgical technique. And that's where I want to let the young people to know, you need to have a very good purpose in life, and you need to have a very, very good focus. Focus is so important in life. And I was very fortunate because I was so focused in it. And I was so focused that I started dreaming about surgery. I started thinking about the surgery when I was eating.
Wow.
And I was virtually dreaming, I'm telling you. Yeah. So that's when focus gets really into your system. And then you can use your mind to get into the details of how you want to, do it better. Yeah.
You envisioned yourself performing a surgery even before you were a surgeon?
Not that. I was performing a surgery already, but I was envisioning the modern surgery and modifying its steps that is suitable for Nepal or for other developing countries.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we had started doing, these smaller surgical camps with intraocular lenses in different parts of 50, 40, 30 यताउति गरेर अनि म मेरो श्रीमती मेरो छोरा त्यति बेला 1 वर्षको थियो है हामी तीनजना सानो पुरानो जिपमा हामी पश्चिम नेपालबाट पूर्व नेपालसम्म हामी जान्थ्यौं अनि अब तपाईले लाहान सुन्नु भयो होला नि है
म गएकै छु सर धेरैचोटी
लाहानमा एकजना जर्मन डाक्टर हुनुहुन्थ्यो अनि उहाँले चाहिँ लाहानमा पहिला त्यति बेला पुरानो टेक्निकबाट सर्जरी धेरै गरिन्थ्यो अनि हजारौं गरिन्छ लाहानमा र म चाहिँ कुनामा बसेर त्यो एक्स्ट्रा क्याप्सुलर विथ इन्ट्राओक्युलर लेन्स भनेर नयाँ इन्ट्राओक्युलर लेन्स सर्जरी उहाँहरूलाई डेमोन्स्ट्रेट गर्थे and trying to convince them. And it's been a very tough ride, getting criticisms into new technology and trying to convince the system.
The older generation.
And not the older generation, but the thinking, And त्यो गरेर अनि हामीले ठाउँ ठाउँमा यसरी गर्थ्यौं गरेर यसले गर्दाखेरि पछि गएर the International Agency of Prevention of Blindness ले नेपालमा एउटा cataract को meeting call गर्यो because they found that my idea was very mad.
When was this?
This was in 1989 को late तिर हो है अनि याक 80 मा I remember याक 80 मा meeting भएको थियो अनि who's who of world ophthalmology from all over the world, WHO and National Eye Institute America and India को Sri Lanka को Pakistan को त्यति बेला अलिकति फेभरेबल थियो सिस्टम हो कि अनि आएर त्यहाँ भयो अनि उहाँहरूले धेरैले हजारवटा 2000 वटा पुरानो टाइपबाट सर्जरी गरेर ग्लासले राम्रो देखिने प्रेजेन्ट गर्नुभयो अनि म र फ्रेड हलोजले हामीले 150 वटा केस त्यो पनि पहाडमा इन्ट्राओक्युलर लेन्स हालेर गरेको केस हामीले त्यहाँ डेमोन्स्ट्रेट गर्यौं अनि गरेर हामीलाई उनीहरूले त्यति बेला अलिकति एक्लाए we were sort of outcasted. That's the right word. We were outcasted and Fred was very Fred Hollows भन्ने मेरो अस्ट्रेलियन साथी चाहिँ असाध्यै आउटस्पोकन हुनुहुन्थ्यो अनि उहाँले उठ्नुभयो जुरुक्कै अलिकति गाली गर्नुभयो अनि त्यो बेलामा इन्डियाले नेपालमा इम्बार्गो गराएको थियो अस्ति जुन गर्यो नि त्यो भन्दा पहिला गराएको थियो त्यो बेला गराएको थियो अनि उहाँले you blah 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 and this beautiful country I can't expect this being embargoed in 20th century भनेर नि है त्यस्तो कुराहरु गर्नुभयो अनि we are leaving this place now भनेर हामी त्यहाँबाट सिधा निस्किएर हामी याकिनेटीको बारमा गएर एकछिन आनन्द गरेर अनि बाहिर निस्क्यौं. So that was the scenario. So we had to slowly get into the system. र त्यसरी आएर अनि by the end of middle of 1990 हाम्रो तिलगङ्गाको कन्सेप्ट हामीले कन्सेप्ट राखेर सर्जिकल ट्रेनिङ फेसिलिटी अनि नेपालमै लेन्स म्यानुफ्याक्चर गर्ने नेपालमा लेन्स म्यानुफ्याक्चर गर्नेमा धेरैले अपोज गरे धेरैले including a delegate going to the Prime Minister and saying these people are mad and why they are doing this. So हाम्रो आफ्नै त्यो टेक्नोलोजी इम्प्रुभ गर्ने हाम्रो छँदै थियो गाह्रो त्यो माथि सबै कुरा फेस गर्दाखेरि त्यति बेला it was not easy. So but जहिले पनि भन्छ नि तिमीले पाहाडतिर गयो भने थाहा हुन्छ क्या उकालो चढ्ने बित्तिकै ओह्रालो आइहाल्छ भन्छ नि अन्त that's what I believe in life. And it has always been like that.
Would you mind elaborating this slightly?
Whenever you have challenges, there are opportunities, and if challenges are faced very nicely, challenges lead to great opportunities.
No shadow of a doubt on that. No doubt on that. Tilgangako concept आयो, majority opposed to it, but you focused on.
Went on. अनि त्यति बेला अब हामीलाई अलिकति त्यति बेलाको प्राइम मिनिस्टर गिरिजा प्रसाद कोइराला हुनुहुन्थ्यो अनि उहाँले अलिकति सपोर्ट गर्नुभयो अलिकति त मैले आँखा अपरेसन गरे हुनाले पनि होला अनि अब त्यति बेला नेपालमा आँखामा लेन्स हाल्ने चलन धेरैले गर्दैन थियो त्यसकारण मलाई अलिकति फाइदा पनि भयो त्यसले
मान्छेलाई डर के थियो त्यतिखेर नयाँ टेक्नोलोजी भएको कारण डर थियो कसैले ट्राई नै गरेको थिएन इन्टरनेसनल कम्युनिटीले पनि लाइक यु सेड इन्टरनेसनल कम्युनिटीले चाहिँ किन एक्सेप्ट गर्न खोजेन
International committee community पनि कस्तो हुन्छ नि bureaucrats and people
vested interest
of course they have their own share to save and they are never known to do things which are out of the box they are never right and we were doing something that's totally out of the box and getting results and that was and most important thing was it was happening in a very small, very undeveloped country, Nepal.
Innovation चाहिँ नेपालबाट चाहिँ कहिले आउला भन्ने मान्छेले एक्सपेक्ट पनि सोचेको पनि थिएन एक्सपेक्ट पनि गरेको
थिएन Many people in WHO authorities त्यति बेला they said this needs to have a clinical trial. Why should I do a clinical trial to assist to a technology which you have already established in New York and London? Mm-hmm. Why should I do it clinical trial in my patients? That was my argument. And we were offered a very big grant for a clinical trial. We refused it. अनि तिलगङ्गा हामीले बनाउन खोलेर with difficulty we were able to get the support of the late His Majesty King Birendra and the then Prime Minister.
Let me get into this. How did the king take it at the time? The late king?
The late king, Sanjay, I used to see his eyes.
Exactly, that's what I wanted to ask you.
And I used to examine him and some of his family members. And so this is, part of the luck that I had. And there's a bit of, चिनजान चाहिँ राम्रो हुन्छ यस्तो कुरामा नि अनि so I could express to him that this is what it is यो नेपालमा हामीले यसरी गर्न लागेको यसको फ्युचर यस्तो छ भनेर अनि राजाले टाउको अलिअलि हलाउनु भयो He was such a wonderful king है
How was he as a person since you met him since you spent time with him if I can ask
Very nice very soft spoken and जस्तो अब नेपालीमा हामीले भेटेर कुरा गर्दाखेरि there are different categories of dialogues okay
no
so to make things very easy he would come and speak to you in English and you could speak एउटै तरिकाले मात्रै है त्यो थियो र धेरै पटक मैले जति पनि मैले संगत गरे His Majesty visited the hospital later on to have the surgery of his mother-in-law, to his sister, okay? And they used to come almost 6 monthly for checkup. He had glaucoma suspect, okay? We had to check him once in a while. So, explaining to him, putting things on the platform, right? He was very easy to make him understand.
There was not his vision and your vision aligned together at the time?
He had so many things in his mind.
Let me rephrase this. Vision of making sure that all the Nepalese people, सबैजनाको चाहिँ हैन सबैजनालाई चाहिँ सजिलो हुनुपर्छ सबैजनालाई चाहिँ जस्तै हजुरको टेक्नोलोजीको कुरा गर्दै सबैजनालाई चाहिँ हैन एन्टायर पपुलेसन अफ द कन्ट्रीलाई चाहिँ सजिलो होस् भन्ने त्यो भिजनको कुरा गरे मैले
उहाँले जहिले पनि उहाँले के सोध्नुहुन्थ्यो भने यसमा नेपाललाई के फाइदा नेपालीलाई के फाइदा भनेर अनि मैले त्यो दुईटै कुरालाई मैले एक्सप्लेन गरेँ नेपाललाई किन फाइदा हुन्छ भने नेपालले एउटा यस्तो टेक्नोलोजी यहाँ डेभलप गर्छ यो टेक्नोलोजीले नेपाललाई अलिकति नेपालको प्रोफाइल राम्रो हुन्छ एक अनि वी कुड मेक द इन्ट्राओक्युलर लेन्स अफोर्डेबल फर फर पिपल एन्ड अब नेपालीलाई के फाइदा हुन्छ भन्दा यो सर्जरी चाहिँ इट विल बी इन देयर premises
in their backyard
available to them and then he started smiling and but like I said I mean some of the maybe 5-6 times that I had interactions with him were all very easy and he was I think from my understanding a great patriot and he loved his people.
How was interaction with Gisha Prasad Goenka? How did that go?
I have no insights into political system.
No. This is very out of that.
But he was once he was convinced with this, he supported very strongly. He supported very strongly in getting us the land and getting us things moving ahead. He was very strongly supportive. And in fact, the inauguration of Tilganga was one of the first, I think, civil functions where the king and the prime ministers came in the same platform.
Came together.
Same platform.
It was a win for the country.
Yes.
It was a big win for the country. Again, I want to come back to this. Giving back to people, that is something that you believe in.
Yeah.
That's the reason why हामीले अघि नै कुरा गरे अनुसार अस्ट्रेलियाबाटै अब फर्केर आइसकेपछि त हैन यो त फिर्ता दिनु पर्यो आफ्नो देशलाई हैन. So many technologies are being created around the world by Nepalese. त्यो पनि छ नि त संसारैभरि छ नि त हैन संसारैभरि नेपाली पिपल द डायस्पोरा इज अल अक्रस द प्लानेट अहिले दे आर वाचिङ एन्ड दे आर लिसनिङ राइट नाउ हैन अ लट अफ फ्रेन्ड्स वान्ट टु कम ब्याक के हजुरले भन्नुभयो नि हजुर आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ थिएन त के पनि हैन बेयरली ह्याड एनिथिङ विथ यु हैन अ लट अफ फ्रेन्ड्स वान्ट टु कम ब्याक एन्ड गिभ ब्याक टु नेपाल के तर कतिजनालाई के हुन्छ भने फर्केर आउँ त कसरी आउँ या त फर्केर आउँ त कहाँबाट सुरु गरौँ त भन्ने पनि हुन्छ होला कि what's your thought on that?
मलाई सञ्जय एउटा कुरा चाहिँ के छ भने I can understand and I quite agree with how their thinking is but I think to all of us the pandemic has taught some lessons. एउटा चाहिँ पेन्डेमिकले के सिकाएको छ भने our life is very strongly limited.
Yeah.
We need to live for a certain number of time. भन्ने कुरा सिकाएको छ र यो टाइममा हामीले के गर्नु राम्रो हुन्छ इट्स नट आवर लाइफ इज नट इन्फिनिट अनि मलाई के लाग्छ भने हाम्रो नेपाली साथीहरू जहाँ बाहिर हुनुहुन्छ उहाँहरूलाई पनि दे विल आई क्यान अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड दे विल ट्राई टु लुक एट अ वे वेयर इन्भेस्टमेन्ट इज भेरी वेल रिटर्न्ड एन्ड इन्भेस्टमेन्ट इज फ्रेन्डली नेपाल उहाँको कन्ट्री हो हाम्रो कन्ट्री हो नेपालमा कति गाह्रो छ भन्ने कुरो उहाँलाई थाहा छ हामीलाई थाहा छ तर नेपालमा गाह्रो हुँदा पनि गर्ने तरिका छ राम्रो कुरा गर्ने तरिका लेट्स डु समथिङ गुड एन्ड लेट्स नट होप फर लट अफ ग्रेट रिटर्न एन्ड लेट्स होप द्याट द रिटर्न गोज टु पिपल इफ यु हेभ दिस मोटो then I'm pretty sure that all the diasporas that you're talking about and will have so much effect in Nepal. र हामीले true sense of business मा मैले X amount invest गरे भने I want X plus Y भनेर त्यो सोचाइले हामीले आयो भने नेपालमा सायद अलिकति गर्नु गाह्रो हुन्छ होला तर नेपालमा म नेपाली हुँ नेपालमा मैले के गर्नुपर्छ मैले यो गरेँ भने मेरो यतिजना मान्छेले मलाई यसलाई फाइदा हुन्छ भन्ने सोचाइ गर्यो भने नेपालमा अझ पनि गर्ने तरिका धेरै छ गर्नु सक्छौँ
इनोभेसन something new हैन it started from Nepal it spread across the world let's talk about that a little bit so बाहिरको कुराकानी गर्नुपर्दाखेरि alright I'm going to jump back into North Korea now so how did North Korea happen because this is very fascinating to me and how did North Korea happen
मैले अघि भने नि North Korea came to the top of the list अनि त्यसपछि हामी खोजिरहेको थियौँ नर्थ कोरियामा जानुलाई है। अब नेपालमा बसिसकेपछि जाने प्रोसेस पनि हामीले मिलाउनु पऱ्यो र जाँदाखेरि लाग्ने खर्च पनि हामीले खोज्नु पऱ्यो। दुइटै हामीसँग च्यालेन्ज छ। हामीसँग त खालि के छ भन्दा एक्सपर्टिज छ, तर हामीलाई रिसोर्सेस पनि चाहिन्छ, हामीलाई जाने च्यानल पनि चाहिन्छ। अनि डेस्टिनी से अगेन है,
डेस्टिनी
आउट अफ द ब्लू है, आई ह्याड इन माई क्लिनिक I had the counselor of North Korea coming and visiting me for an eye checkup, which I didn't know in the beginning, but as I finished examining him, then he said, I'm the counselor in the DPRK. They use that word, DPRK. And oh yes, you're उठेर फेरि गर्न थालिहालेँ मैले। अनि why don't you come and visit our hospital? Maybe there are things we can go together भने। अनि उहाँलाई 2-3 हप्तापछि आएर हामीले हस्पिटल भिजिट गराएर हाम्रो लेन्स फ्याक्ट्री पनि हेर्नुभयो। हेरेर अनि उहाँले के भन्नुभयो भने भेरी इन्ट्रेस्टिङ। अनि त्यहाँबाट बसेर अनि मैले वी क्यान डु दिस इन योर कन्ट्री भने। अनि गर्दा अनि बिकज देयर इज लट अफ निड देयर, लट अफ ब्लाइन्ड पिपल। अनि थियो पनि त्यहाँ असाध्यै आई केयर एकदमै प्रिमिटिभ स्टेजमा थियो कि। अनि उहाँले आई विल ट्राई माई बेस्ट भन्नुभयो। अनि फर्केर आउनुभयो। नर्थ कोरियामा अब उहाँहरूको लेयर्स अफ ब्युरोक्रेसी हुन्छ, तपाईँलाई थाहा छ नि, हो कि?
अफ कोर्स।
सो ही मस्ट ह्याभ प्रोसेस्ड एन्ड ही सेड इट विल टेक अस 3 months। अनि 6 महिनापछि उहाँले फोन गर्नुभयो अनि मलाई डिनर खानु बोलाउनु भयो। डिनर खानु बोलाएपछि आई हेभ गट पर्मिसन इन नर्थ कोरिया भनेर भन्नुभयो। अनि मलाई अब पैसा कहाँबाट खोज्ने? अब
पैसा चाहियो।
अब उहाँहरूले फेरि पछि के बुझ्यो भने है, उहाँहरूलाई अमेरिकाबाट हुँदैन, धेरै कन्ट्रीबाट हुँदैन, स्विजरल्यान्डबाट हुने रहेछ अनि क्यानाडाबाट हुने रहेछ। यी 2-3वटा कन्ट्रीबाट मात्रै हुने। अनि मैले चाहिँ अनि त्यसको 2-3 महिनापछि स्विजरल्यान्ड अफ्थाल्मोलोजिकल सोसाइटीको चेयरम्यान चाहिँ नेपाल आउनुभएको थियो। अनि ही गेभ मी अ कल and I said, I wanted to have a discussion with you भन्नुभयो है, हामीसँग नेपालमा काम गर्नुलाई। अनि डाक्टर पिटर के भन्ने हुनुहुन्थ्यो है। अनि उहाँले त्यति भनेपछि अनि मैले हुन्छ भनेर अनि हस्पिटलमा बोलाउँदा माई माइन्ड स्टार्टेड टु थिङ्क नाउ है, दिस इज द ओन्ली अपर्च्युनिटी आई हेभ गट। सो आई इन्भाइटेड हिम द्याट नाइट फर डिनर है, and we had dinner together. Then I slowly told him that your ophthalmological society in Tilganga has a wonderful opportunity to do something that nobody has done, to go to North Korea. Chasanga babu pani. And I need about $40,000 money, right, for the whole. We were planning to do about 10-15,000, about 1,500 surgeries. Okay? अनि टिम लानु पर्यो है सबै गर्दाखेरि। अनि उहाँले त्यति भनेपछि वाइ भने यो कन्ट्री एन्ड क्यानाडा क्यान दे क्यान एक्सपेक्ट ओन्ली 2 countries सपोर्ट, नो अदर। अनि उहाँ चाहिँ उहाँले लेट मी सी भन्नुभयो। लेट मी सी भने आई कान्ट प्रमिस, लेट मी सी भन्नुभयो। अनि त्यहाँबाट त्यसको 1 महिनापछि उहाँको अफ्थाल्मोलोजिकल सोसाइटीको मिटिङमा उहाँले प्रपोज गर्नुभएको रहेछ। प्रपोज गर्नुभएपछि अनि 2-4 जना अफ्थाल्मोलोजिस्टहरू आफैले पनि आएर पैसा कन्ट्रिब्युट गर्नुभएछ। अनि 3 महिनामा दे ह्याड द मनी रेडी। सी हाउ डेस्टिनी वर्क्स।
So true.
Yeah, but you need to grab the opportunity
at the right moment.
If you don't grab, okay, if you're a little bit slow, then things don't work. मैले स्विस डक्टरलाई बोलाएर नगरेको भएदेखि मैले रिसोर्स नपाउने, यो सबै कामहरू चाहिँ हामीले अब स्पेसली दिस यङ ग्रुप हो कि, यङ नेपालको अब यङ ग्रुप भनेको नेपालको भोलिको हाम्रो फ्युचर हो उहाँहरू है। दे आर द वन्स हु आर गोइङ टु रन दिस कन्ट्री and it's very important for them to understand that destiny works whenever you have purposeful, focused उद्देश्य एकदम स्ट्रेट हुनु पर्यो र उद्देश्य इफ द उद्देश्य इज फर जनकल्याण फर पब्लिक वेलफेयर इट बिकम्स भेरी स्ट्रङ
Beautiful.
It becomes very strong. Yeah.
This is so beautiful. You and then you went there. Did you get a chance to meet the premier?
We went as far as the health minister, but we were given. I tell you, we were given VIP really treatment, and राम्रोसँग treatment गराएको थियो. तर very strict with photographs being brought out of the country. र जहाँ हामी गयौँ त्यहाँ we could feel that we are not alone.
Yeah, you are always constantly with somebody or the other.
Yeah.
There you go. Where is this?
This is in a place called Haju भनेर towards South Korea को border तिर छ. Pyongyangबाट अलि साउथतिर जानुपर्छ okay. अनि I mean, North Korea is a place which is what you read about in a communist country, you know. They have a lot of के भन्छ नि तपाईको propaganda है.
Of course.
Most of the buildings are very big buildings. What used to be about 50 years ago in China, you know, and building छ तर building चाहिँ खोक्रो छ के भित्र के पनि नभएको सिस्टम के पनि नभएको त्यस्तो बिल्डिङहरु हुन्छ अनि तर there is lot of blindness and over the period of time.
Zoom into this. Is this so I want to ask you, is this you've got lakhs and lakhs of embraces by people?
Yeah.
This is just an example of it, right?
Yeah. तर तपाईको कस्तो भने नर्थ कोरियामा हामीले अहिलेसम्म तिलगङ्गाले डाक्टर साहबहरुले तिलगङ्गा म मात्र हैन अरु डाक्टर साहबहरु पनि पछि जानुभयो है र त्यहाँको क्याटराक्ट सर्जरीको भोल्युम पनि बढ्या छ अनि त्यहाँको सर्जिकल क्वालिटी पनि बढ्या छ अहिले है which is what we aimed for and we still continue to get doctors coming for training from there.
When I just think about it, हैन आँखा खोल्ने बित्तिकै के पट्टी खोल्ने बित्तिकै हुन्छ नि अघि नै हामीले गॉड अफ साइटको कुरा गरेको थियौ हैन खोल्ने बित्तिकै त्यो जुन एम्ब्रेस मान्छेले पहिला गर्छ नि हैन what goes through your mind, what goes through your heart?
These are some of the direct जस्तो अब अस्ति हामीले Sanjay, one of my very faithful मेरो आफ्नै every year मेरो एउटा obligation I go to Lumbini okay and the Thai embassy and the chief Thai monk was a great teacher in Lumbini and he supports and we do camps in Lumbini every year we do about 600, 700, 800 people surgery अनि म एउटा सानो एउटा शेयर गर्न चाहन्छु है
of course
last year there was a blind mentally retarded girl भन्ने कि lady भन्ने she was around 25 and her father her name was Nisa Banu right she was a Muslim lady and her father had brought her and बाउले लिएर अनि उलाई यस्तो थियो हामीलाई अपरेसन गर्नु पनि गाह्रो भयो उलाई समातेर एकदमै मेन्टली डिस्टर्ब भएको मान्छे सर्जरी हामीले गरिसकेपछि सर्जरी गरेर घर गयो त्यहाँ कम्युनिटी हलमा लग्यो नेक्स्ट डे हामीले हेर्यौं त्यसको एक दिन पछाडी फेरि हामीले हेर्यौं अनि एक दिन पछाडी मलाई उसको बाउले मलाई बोलायो बाउसँगै थियो बाउले मलाई बोलाएर के भन्यो भने डाक्टर बाबु म दुईटा कुरा तपाईलाई राख्छु भन्यो है राख्नुस् भने मैले अनि यो मेरो छोरी लाठी अन्धा 15 वर्षदेखि यसलाई मैले कुटेर राखेको खाना खान पनि मान्दैन कुट्नु पर्छ बाहिर जान पनि कुट्नु पर्छ जहिले पनि कुटेर ल्याएको अनि अस्ति आँखा अपरेसन गरिसकेपछि यो हाम्रो लागि ठुलो भार छ हाम्रो परिवारको लागि भन्छ उले है अनि अस्ति अपरेसन गरेको बेलामा राति त्यो हिउँदोको बेलामा सुतिरहेको बेलामा अनि के भएछ भने अपरेसनको 2 दिनपछि निशा बानु पेशेन्टले राति उठेर बाउलाई कम्बल ओढाइदिएछ बुझ्नुभयो है बाउलाई कम्बल ओढाइदिएछ अनि बाउ चाहिँ भोलिपल्ट आएर है मलाई के भन्यो भने डाक्टर साहब म तपाईँलाई कसरी त्यही कुरामा कसरी भन्ने मेरो छोरीले मलाई कम्बल ओढाइदिए मेरो त जिउ नै अर्कै मनै अर्कै भयो भन्दै थियो अनि म तपाईँलाई यही भन्नु मलाई मनमा थियो र मेरो छोरी मैले पाएँ भन्यो उसले मेरो छोरी अब मैले पाएँ भनेर है अनि सच you can see the effect of blindness and how it can
of course
it can cause situations in the house. So I just wanted to share with you.
Wow.
Yeah,
I can just imagine the father.
Yeah. And something that I've never spoken to media about this story, and I like to most of my young people Nepalko youthहरू छ नि I have so much respect for them, for their restlessness, for their purity, for their agility to do something है अनि म हाम्रो youthहरूमा नि and I have this experience from working with my children and working with the youths of Hami Nepal right very closely. Such a you get such a great त्यो chemistry नै है
यसको कुरा गरौँ न जस्तै सुदन्स बिन हियर हैन सुदन हामी नेपाल र हजुरसँगको कोअर्डिनेसन चाहिँ कसरी भयो if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, sure. के भएको थियो भने तपाईको हामी म आँखाको काम बाहेक I'm involved in Barbara Foundation.
Barbara Foundation. Right? Would you mind telling us a little bit about the foundation before we jump into the story?
Barbara Foundation is a foundation established after the iconic Barbara Adams, the gray-haired lady who was पछिबाट नेपालमा पनि citizenship पाउनु भयो अनि but whatever her political aspirations were, but she was a great lover of Nepal. नेपालको बारेमा उहाँको यति राम्रो नेपालीहरूलाई यति माया गर्नुहुन्थ्यो अनि उहाँले आफ्नो प्रोसिजरबाट एउटा फाउन्डेसन उहाँले चलाउनुहुन्थ्यो अनि उहाँ बित्नु हुने बेलामा म कहाँ 3 चोटि आउनुभयो है 3 चोटि आएर लास्टमा व्हीलचेयरमै आएर मैले 2 चोटि चाहिँ this is something I can't do, Barbara. This is not my job. My job is different. And Barbara, if you don't run, I'm going to shut it down. And त्यहाँबाट लास्टमा मलाई उपाय नै थिएन. Okay, Barbara, I will take it, but I'll have to run it by the laws of the country.
True.
हामीले the laws of the country अनुसार गर्नु पर्यो नि. अनि त्यहाँबाट हामीले Barbara फाउन्डेसनमा हामीले एउटा बोर्ड अफ डाइरेक्टर्स okay अनि बोर्ड अफ डाइरेक्टर्समा हाम्रो रागिनी दिदी अनि अखिलेश उपाध्याय स्वर्णिम डाक्टर गोविन्द पोखरेल सुरित सञ्जय थापा अनि सुदर्शन पाण्डे यी मान्छेहरू भएर डाक्टर चन्द्र है हामी भएर हामी एउटा फाउन्डेसन बनायौँ फाउन्डेसनले कम्युनिटीमा हामीले काम गर्ने र नेपालमा अलिकति यो इश्यूजहरुमा हामीले टक प्रोग्राम्सहरु गर्ने है करेन्ट इश्यूजहरुमा गरेर भनेर हामीले गरिरहेका थियौं र दिस इज व्हाट बार्बर फाउन्डेसन इज एन्ड वी डु लिटल थिंग्स इन द कम्युनिटी है हजुर र अब पेन्डेमिकको बेलामा त हामी सबैलाई जस्तो भने हामी घरमा बसेर वाच गर्छौं नि है वी आर रेस्टलेस Sanjay, you can't go and do something, but you want to do. You want to
support somehow. I
know. Then when you see what this group of young people were doing, I got fascinated. Sudan र उसको हामी नेपालको ग्रुप चाहिँ उनीहरूले हरेक ठाउँमा है दौडेर गइरहेको थियो त्यतिबेला and I was fascinated and I wanted to get in touch with them. So I called and they were giving an interview on AP News. That's where I contacted them. अनि गरेर सुदनसँग कुरा भएर to the least we could do and work with you is give you a space to work, put your office. Sure.
थिएन त्यतिखेर के पनि थिएन उनीहरुको थिएन.
Come and put it अनि सुदनले मैले भने you are an energetic group of people and we have on the board very experienced people. And why not we make a fusion?
No.
And we'll give you all the directions and you have all the restlessness in you. And let's combine. अब यसलाई हामीले त्यो हिसाबबाट हामीले अलिअलि काम गरिरहेको थियौँ जस्तो अब 2-3 ठाउँमा हामीले काम पनि सँगै गऱ्यौँ अनि लेटली हामीले लास्ट फ्यु डेजमा हामीले वी हेभ एक्चुअली डिसाइडेड टु भेरी क्लोजली वर्क विथ देम
विथ हामी नेपाल
wonderful group of people really I mean the energy, the restlessness and impatient, those are all their strength.
So I want to ask you something. I've read it. I don't know where it started again. Barefoot भनेर चाहिँ किन भन्ने हजुरलाई खाली खुट्टा कता जानुभएको छ
Barefoot त्यो पनि के भयो भने
Barefoot Surgeon भनेर चाहिँ एउटा त्यो स्पेसिफिक टर्मै छ कि यो पनि
हामीले एकचोटि सञ्जयलाई थाहा छ कि छैन दोरम्बा भन्ने ठाउँ छ दोरम्बा भन्ने दोरम्बा भन्ने रामेछापमा छ अनि मुडेतिरबाट गए पनि हुन्छ यता उबाट मन्थलीबाट गए पनि हुन्छ रामेछाप दोरम्बा भेरी पपुलर बिकज अफ द माओइस्ट मुभमेन्ट कतिजनालाई त्यहाँ मारेर गाडिया थियो है
दोरम्बा
लेट्स नट टक अबाउट दैट बट दोरम्बा इज वन अफ माई फेभरेट प्लेसेस द्याट्स वाइ आई गट माई मेल्स अन दोरम्बा है त्यहाँदेखि नै अनि एनिवे दोरम्बामा हामीले एउटा क्याम्प गर्दाखेरि एउटा इटालियन रिपोर्टर है थियो सिडनी मर्निङ हेरल्डको लागि अस्ट्रेलियाको न्युजको लागि रिपोर्ट गर्ने भएको थियो अनि उसले चाहिँ नट बिकज आई वाज वकिङ
barefoot
but because I was going to places अनि उसले एउटा सिडनी मर्निङ हेरल्डमा एउटा फिचर नै निकाल्यो The Barefoot Surgeon goes to places भनेर and that's how it started
and it's been around for such a long time I know young people need to understand a couple of things. I want to jump into my story. I smoked for a long period of time cigarettes in a long period of time. Long period of time. I quit recently. It's been a couple of years I know. Not just smoking cigarettes but cigarettes एयर पोल्युसनमा पनि फेरि हामीले गाडीको मात्र सोच्छौँ त्यो मात्र पनि होइन दाउरादेखि लिएर कोलदेखि लिएर सबै थोक पनि आउँछ होइन हाउ मच डज स्मोकिङ एन्ड इन जनरल पोल्युसन एफेक्ट योर आइज इफ यु कुड जस्ट जम्प इन टु दिस एट द मोमेन्ट
पोल्युसन can definitely affect the eyes, and pollution generally affects the eyes from outside, causing allergy, red eyes, swellings and irritations. Okay, smoking affects the eye
from inside.
Both ways, from outside by the smokes but also from inside. And there's a very good study saying that smoking is one of a rare cause of cataract also can cause. Right? So you can see how smoking definitely affects the lungs and the heart and also the eyes.
One of the things that, again, these are things that I advocate about. Like, I work out every day. I try to eat as healthy as I can. And I've made my share of mistakes.
We all have done that.
We all definitely have. Generally, we talk about specific things. Like, we constantly talk about heart. We constantly talk about a lot of other organs. Sometimes, we disregard if I'm not mistaken. I mean, सोच्दैनौँ नि ओल्ड एजमा हुन्छ ओल्ड एजमा हामीले चस्मा लाउँछौँ भनेर होइन त्यो इट्स अ गिभन फ्याक्ट एन्ड राइट नाउ विथ द अमाउन्ट अफ स्क्रिन टाइम द्याट वी हेभ एभ्रिबडी इज वाचिङ अस सम टन्स अफ पिपल आर लिसनिङ टु अस होइन बिकज अफ स्क्रिन टाइम एज वेल I'm sure the coming generation in the 21st century or in the 22nd century are going to face different kind of eye problems. Okay, that's what that's what I'm sure is going to happen down the road. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I'll tell you in brief. Computer screens, mobile screens, and television screens. These are three things, that we are talking about, and you've also heard about Blu-rays a little bit. I'll try to explain to that also. Now, what computer causes and what mobile causes is हाम्रो आफ्नो बिलिभ चाहिँ आँखाको पावर यसले बढाउँछ र आँखा झन्झन कमजोर गराउँछ भन्ने छ नि त्यो चाहिँ सत्य होइन
ओके
त्यो सत्य होइन आँखाको पावरलाई यसले के पनि फरक गर्दैन ओके एक यसले के गर्छ भन्दाखेरि तपाईँ काम गर्ने बेलामा तपाईँको आँखाको वरिपरि मसल्सहरू हुन्छ पछाडि अनि काममा फोकस हुनुहुन्छ अनि त्यो मसल्सहरूको स्ट्रेन गर्नुसक्छ एउटा अर्को कुरा तपाईँ हामी कुरा गरिरहेको बेलामा यु ब्लिङ्क आँखालाई ब्लिङ्क गर्छ ब्लिङ्क अबाउट 20-25 times per minute. But when you're watching on a screen, you blink about less than 1/5 of what you normally do. So it increases the dryness of the eye. बुझ्यो है मैले भने है मैले भने dryness of the eye. That is something that the screen time does. So the suggestion is whenever you're sitting on a computer for a long time, especially young people who are executives or हुनुहुन्छ कम्प्युटरमा बस्दाखेरि सबभन्दा पहिला त configuration is very important. You keep your laptop very in a good position, make your chairs comfortable, and then look in a direction, not up, not down, straight. Okay?
Kind of straight.
Straight. Okay? अन्त माथि गर्दा पनि घाँटीमा स्ट्रेस हुन्छ, तल गर्दा पनि घाँटीमा स्ट्रेस हुन्छ. लङ टर्मलाई इट्स नट गुड. एउटा त्यो अनि ब्याकग्राउन्ड धेरै ब्राइट पनि नगर्ने र धेरै कम्प्युटरमा आजकलको नयाँ नयाँ कम्प्युटरमा दिस ए कलर फिल्टर एन्ड यु पुट ब्लू एन्ड येलो फिल्टर कम्प्युटरमै इनबिल्ड पनि हुनसक्छ अनि कुनै कुनैमा चाहिँ फेरि ब्लू फिल्टर भनेर स्टिकर पाउँछ त्यो पनि गर्नु सक्नुहुन्छ ओके तर त्यो पनि भएन भने अनि चस्मामा ब्लू फिल्टर भएको चस्मा है नाउ व्हाट डज ब्लू रेज डु है ब्लू रेज एक्चुअली आँखामा धेरै इफेक्ट गर्दैन तर ब्लू रेजले मेलाटोनिन उगर्ने हुनाले स्लिप ह्याम्पर गर्छ So that's why when you use computer in the evening, then it's good that you have either a Blu-ray protection, okay, glasses, अनि Blu-ray अब साँच्चीकै Blu-ray protection भएको glass चाहिँ yellowish या amber color को हुन्छ है if it is inbuilt in the lens. नभएदेखि चाहिँ बाहिर चस्मामै बाहिरपट्टि कोटिङ भएको Blu-ray filter भएको पाउँछ.
मसँग त्यो एउटा चस्मा मलाई एउटा गिफ्ट आएछ. One of our sponsors knew you gifted me one of the glasses.
So what I'm trying to say is कम्प्युटरले आँखाको पावर चेन्ज गर्दैन है पावरलाई चेन्ज गर्दैन तर कम्प्युटरले धेरै अब एउटा त्यो अर्को कुरा चाहिँ अब if we try to play around with the internet all the time, then I think it affects your system.
It affects your brain more than your brain.
Yeah. That's definitely called digital toxicity, right? So that's definitely there. But computer as such, अब एउटा कुरा चाहिँ के गर्नुपर्छ भने तपाईले 1 घण्टादेखि 2 घण्टासम्म काम गरिसकेपछि continuous काम गरिसकेपछि take a 5 minutes break. And the best thing that I find is if you can close your eyes and try to meditate. Empty your system, then you also can refresh your mind and also put enough tear on the eyeball. है बुझ्यो है मैले यसरी बन्द गरे है एउटा त्यो अर्को चाहिँ अब एक्सपर्टहरूले कसैले भन्छ टाढो हेर भन्छ है टाढो हेर भन्छ एकछिन टाढो हेर भन्छ तर मलाई चाहिँ के भने आँखा बन्द गरेर 5 मिनट जति कहीँ बस्यो भने then you're ready to come back and work again.
You're ready to
and अर्को चाहिँ अब नक्कली आँसु artificial tear and धेरै computer users-हरुले राम्रो क्वालिटीको एउटा artificial tear चाहिँ here and there you can use.
You can use that. मेरो आमाले त हरियो खानुपर्छ भन्छन् हरियो हेर्नुपर्छ भन्छन् green eating green and looking at something green is I'm sure it's always going to be better for your brain and your system.
Refreshing.
What new are we working on? Are there new technologies that we are developing, you are working on? What's happening around the world?
अहिले अब हामीले एउटा त के गरिरहेछौँ भने इन्ट्राओक्युलर लेन्स प्रोडक्सनलाई अर्को प्लेटफर्ममा हामी लिएर जाने हामी सबै टिम भएर जस्तो अब अहिले हामी करिब 3-3.5 लाख पर इयर हामी प्रड्युस गर्छौँ तर अब एक्चुअल कर्पोरेट वर्ल्डमा गएर हामी कम्पिटिसन गर्न सक्दैनौँ अनि वन्स यु आर टकिङ अबाउट इन्टरनेसनल कम्पिटिसन इट हेज टु बी प्रोफेसनल सो हामीले फिलान्थ्रोपिक मोडल भन्दा पनि एउटा कर्पोरेट मोडलबाट हामीले चलाउने अनि त्यो प्रोडक्सन भोल्युमलाई 4 टाइम्स बढाउने र अझ प्रिमियम मोडल्सहरू राख्ने भनेर हामी त्यो ट्रान्जिसनमा छौँ एउटा अघि अर्को चाहिँ यो पेन्डेमिककै दौरानमा है somebody started coming after me from a great philanthropist in UK.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Tej Kohli. He started following me and मलाई 3-4 चोटि उहाँले म त त्यतिकै होला भन्ने ठानेर मैले अनि त्यहाँबाट आखिरमा गएर के लागेन मैले एकचोटि उहाँको अफिसमा जुम कल मैले गरेँ गर्दाखेरि अनि मलाई के भन्नुभयो भने आई हेभ बिन फलोइङ योर वर्क and I want to partner with you to clear the backlog of cataract in the world.
Wow.
Right, so again destiny, right? अनि त्यहाँबाट अगाडि बढ्दै गएर हामी यो जुमको दौरानमा यसलाई कसरी म्यानेज गर्ने अनि उहाँले के प्रपोज गर्नुभयो भने तिम्रो नाममा फाउन्डेसन खोल्ने भन्नुभयो है मैले मेरो नाममा फाउन्डेसन त धेरैले भनेको छ म सकेसम्म नखोल्नु भने होइन तिम्रो नाम कहीँ रहनै पर्छ भनेर भन्नुभयो अनि त्यो त्यसैमा हामी 2-3 चोटि हामी डिस्कसन गरिराख्यौँ 2-3 दिन अनि आखिरमा के उ भयो भने we established a Tej Kohli Ruit Foundation है establish गरेर our and his commitment from the resource side is to do at least that's it at least 100,000 surgeries per year
all around the world. Wow.
And take it to 500,000 in 5 years.
Wow.
If not more, right? And we have started in Nepal in the last during the pandemics, okay? Nepal ma karib 8,000 pugisakyo. Baira bistare हामी लिएर जाने and I'm really excited about it. Something that we can change around the world. And I'm equally happy, much more happy to say that this will be done from Tilganga.
Beautiful.
With the flag of Nepal. You know, that was my condition.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah, so we want to spread, we'll become actual ambassadors for the country.
So how can again, I never do this on the podcast. How can friends who are listening to us, who are watching us, जसले सुन्दै हुनुहुन्छ जसले हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ हैन उनीहरुलाई मद्दत गर्न मन छ भने कसरी गर्ने? It can be financially or it could be in other means as well, हैन? Would the foundation be willing to take support?
Yeah.
How can they do that?
They could get in touch with the TKRF in UK or in Nepal, or they should get in touch with Tilganga Institute of Ophthalmology. नेपालमा सबभन्दा राम्रो चाहिँ तिलगङ्गासँग कन्ट्याक्ट गरेको राम्रो होला.
होला सबसे बेस्ट त्यही हुन्छ होला हैन?
If there are people in UK, I think they should contact Tej Kohli Ruit Foundation in London.
No, this is something that again त्यो शब्दै छैन के मैले त्यो I could open the dictionary and use all the Nepali र अंग्रेजी words and that is not going to be enough. No. It's not going to be enough for the I don't even want to use the word achievements, and more power to you. More power to you, more power to your entire team. And Steve Jobs said this once, and it is not just one person, it's the entire team's effort as well. And I've always used that, even when it comes to what I do here. I've got a small little team, and we try to talk to as many friends as possible. Sure. And you coming here, I started off with this, and I want to end with this. You coming here and sitting in this table, sitting at my studio, we feel blessed.
My God.
And no, we feel blessed, and the amount of lives that you've changed, and the amount of happiness that you've spread across Nepal and across the world. There's no words.
Yeah. Sanjay, the other thing that I really sort of conserve and think that some things that we have done really well is training.
Yeah. And
I'll give you an instance. We have started training doctors in Vietnam when Vietnam was in 1990s. Yeah. And we trained the core group of doctors who are doing modern cataract surgery now in different parts. And among them, there was a doctor called Dr. Bean.
Dr. Bean.
Dr. Bean, yeah. He was trained in Hanoi, and he was trained also in Tilganga here. And then he went back, and he later on went on to open a 1,000-bed hospital in Da Nang. Yeah. And I remember receiving a small parcel, a little packet in early 2000. And then when I opened it, it has a card and a beautiful sculpture of a horse and a marvel. And he's written it to my teacher. Yeah. This is a horse sculpture done by a famous artist in Vietnam, and was operated by me with your help. Yeah, and it really sort of touched me so much. And that's really the effect of training. Spreading the the knowledge, scaling it up in different countries. And that's what we are doing from Tilganga, actually. Yeah. Got my point?
I totally got your point. And again, my eyes are all teary all the time today. I don't know. Maybe it's the Dr. Ruit effect. I want यो कताको तस्बिर डाक्टर साहब याद छ हजुरलाई?
यो कालिम्पोङ.
कालिम्पोङको.
We have established a small hospital there, the JK Eye Center, and 2 doctors run it, and has become one of the models of quality eye care, sustainability in that area. And they are seeing patients every day, doing surgeries. They are increasing their volume. And,
the amount of smile that I see in this.
Yeah.
जिन्दगी यही हो नि त नि डाक्टर साहब हैन जिन्दगी यही हो
जिन्दगी त मैले त्यही भने पेन्डेमिकले हाम्रो साथीहरुलाई नि पेन्डेमिकले सिकाएको हामीलाई यही हो आवर लाइफ इज फाइनाइट इट्स नट इन्फिनिट एन्ड इन द फाइनाइट टाइम लेट्स ट्राई टु डु समथिङ and our Nepalese living around the world, they are so resourceful. Let's not only talk about strong returns, let's talk about welfare. You can do so much around in Nepal, and let's do it. And I can tell you, Nepalमा गर्ने तरिका फरक छ, गर्नु गाह्रो छ, तर गर्नु सम्भव छ.
Of course, छ. There's no doubt on that. And wow, यस्तो हुँदो रहेछ के डाक्टर साहब. म एक सौ मलाई भन्नु मन छ कि हैन. कस्तो हुन्छ भने यही टेबलमा I have sat with so many friends, हैन. The amount of energy that I receive, I feel blessed. I feel blessed हुन्छ नि हैन, किनभने the amount of power that I receive हुन्छ नि हैन, and the energy that I'm getting from you, Doc Sahib, it's going to stay with me for the rest of my life.
Thank you so much for that.
And in any way, if I could ever play a small role in your vision, I'd be more than happy to do that. And again, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much.
Very nice of you. Yeah.
Thank you very much for giving us your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, for being with us. Thank you very much, sir. Yes. This was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Great.
Woo! If you love what we are doing, make sure that you subscribe and turn on notifications. This program is brought to you by Vyas Studios.